So, welcome to Hellifield Station, and welcome to Settle Carlisle 68. And we're obviously on location on this lovely sunny day, and we're waiting for the Waverley special to come in on the Settle to Carlisle line, and it'll be the 35018 British India line, and that's the train that we're just waiting to come through any minute. But the reason why we're here today, as well as seeing the train, is to come and do some research on the station itself. And the reason for that is it's going to be the basis for my new layout track plan. And the track plan will include the station, the island platform, the steam loco depot, which has a large 4-lane engine shed, a turntable, and a substantial coaling stage. I'm also going to add a goods depot or goods yard, which currently isn't here at the station, or it was a separate station located down the line, but I'm going to use Rule 1, and I'm going to include that in the track plan. So I'm going to be quiet for a moment whilst we expect the Waverley to come through at any moment, and then we'll move on to the track plan and some photographs of what the station was like and the layout back in the 1960s. Well, here we go, it's coming through now. So hope you enjoyed that bit of location video, and you now understand why we were there, and the plan for the Hellifield station will be based on probably more what's in the photograph that you see on the screen now. So this is a photograph from the 1960s, I believe, and you can see the station itself looking a bit downbeat and grotty. I'm hoping to brighten it up a little bit, but I won't be including the bays that are at either end of the platform. As you see here, this is at the south end, and the reason for that is the scale for the platform will be around just over 2.3 meters, and I've got about just over a meter, so I've had to drop the bays, but I'm hoping to keep the station to a sort of similar size, and lots of other details and features like the signal gantry you see here. I'm also looking to obviously include the engine shed that you see over in the top right, and the very far right is the coaling stage, which again I'm hoping to include. And what you can't see in the distance is the between or to the right of the engine shed is a large turntable, and then to the left hand side we can possibly just make out there's a Mark 1 coach will be where the goods depot is going to be. Hi there, welcome back to What's on the Workbench, and in this episode we're going to cover N-gauge static grasses. I think it's probably the topic that I get most frequently asked about, so I thought we'd do a bit of a video on static grasses and how I
apply the grasses to the layout to get a realistic effect. So what I would like to probably start with is to consider the N gauge scale, because with the N gauge we're obviously looking at 2mm per foot, so we've got to be, I guess, careful on overdoing it with any static grasses, so it doesn't then look unrealistic. So I always consider what sort of vehicles or people or animals that I've got close or actually in the grass. So yeah, that's I think the first thing to consider. So my sort of rule of thumb is that I would always use 1 or primarily 2mm static grasses, and then build up the layers. But I always start with either a 1 or 2mm grass. So I've got this board which I've just stuck down some track and just painted up. This is what I usually start with on my baseboard, and then we can then loop to start applying some grasses. What I would first of all is like to say thank you to Martin at WWS, who has kindly sent me through this brand new design of applicator. So this is specifically for N-Gauge static grass, so it's the Pro Grass N-Gauge Micro Static Grass Applicator, so it's quite a mouthful, but yeah, it's a excellent piece of kit. So Martin sent it me to give it a try, and then give my honest opinion on that. So the main difference over the other applicators in the range is the grill size, and this has been specially sized to deal with the N-Gauge 1-2mm static grasses. So it literally is fresh out the box, so as you can see it's not been used. So we're going to give it a whirl today and see how it performs on this demo piece. Okay, so I'll get set up, and then we can get putting some static grass down. Okay, so we've got our board. I've loaded up the applicator with 2mm muddy, which is again a grass that's available from WWS, and it's my favourite go-to colour, but we'll come on to the different shades afterwards. So we start off, I'm just going to do one side of the board today. So we start off, and you can literally go straight onto the board with this basing glue, which is specially designed for the static grass. So we'll see if that's enough. So I just put it on the board, and then we just apply that quite liberally on the board itself. So there's lots of demo videos on the WWS site, but let's give this a whirl, because I've not used this applicator before. Let's see how good it is. Okay, so just put that to one side. So we've got we're going to work quick today really, because it's quite warm. So we've got the applicator full of grass, so we're just going to switch that on, put the red light on, and put the clip, and I just usually put this close to the board so I don't actually clip it to the board. So let's fire away and get some grass down. And already I can sort of tell that this gives a nice even spread over the board compared to the one I've got with the larger grill. So I don't think you can make that out. So that's our 2mm of static grass, and already I am genuinely impressed at how well that's delivered an even coat of the static grass. Now, previously I've already got a Progress micro applicator, and you can see the grill's larger in that, and I tended to find that with the 2mm grass that would probably dump more static grass on, and you get sometimes some clumps, and that's just me operating the applicator. But this is really good so far, so really pleased with that. You could leave it like that because you've got the blends within the static grass itself, but we're going to look to just add some shading to that and different blends. Okay, so I'm going to just swap over the grasses and then come back, and we'll get the next coat on. Okay, so I filled up the Engage applicator with some 1mm summer. So that's the grass we're using on this one. So what I'm going to do is just apply some patches. Now normally if it was a hillside, I would probably put the summer green in sort of the dips and the areas that don't get the sun the same, because where you get the high spots on the hills, you would tend to get the more burnt grass. In this instance, we've not got any hills, but we'll just show some greener grass on these outer parts, and then we'll probably have more dead grass round close to the track. So for this, we're going to use the static grass layering spray. So we'll give it a shake. So give it a good shake. I'm just going to apply a few patches close to the outside. And just make sure you tip the can up afterwards to get rid of the excess in the nozzle. So we're just going to go over now with this 1mm summer. So this should just give it a bit of a punch with the green. So you see there's not much waste there. So what we've actually done there is we've added a 1mm layer on top of the 2mm. So in the area where we've got the summer grass, we've effectively got sort of a 3mm grass. So we're looking just over a foot high for the grass. I don't know that you can just hopefully make that out. So we've got our muddy down the edge of the track, and then we've got this summer green.
So what I've done to be able to sort of lay out the track plan was to use the old plans, the original plans, where they showed the engine shed and all the other associated buildings in sort of a black and white plan drawing. And what I've done to help locate these both at the station when I visited and also to gain measurements was to overlay those onto sort of a latest satellite image. And that all I can do now is take what we've sort of researched and learnt from the visit, and I applied that into the track plan itself for the model railway. Okay, so we've got the track plan on SCARM, and I've colour coded it to identify the various sections of track. We've got in the red section the engine loco depot with the turntable, and then below the turntable we've got the 4-lane engine shed with the points that split up prior to the engine shed, and then below that we've got a storage lane for wagons or even branch line coaches. We've then got the ash pit on the line leading to the turntable, and then above that there's a couple of lines for the coaling stage and the coaling line for the locos. The blue lines represent the passing goods loops, and the pink lines are the main up and down lines on the Settle and Carlisle line. The only remaining colour then is the yellow lines, which relate to the goods area of the layout, and you'll see there's the goods shed will be located, and then below that will be a coaling merchants and a cattle dock, and then just moving up from that will be the head shunt for getting the goods trains back onto the blue goods loop, and then onto the main line. So that's the basis of the track plan. So we can take that and actually go and look at it in practice on the setup that I've put on the layout. It's just a mock-up, but you'll be able to get an idea of what it actually looks like on the layout itself. If you've got any comments relating to the track plan, any advice, let me know in the comments box. But let's go over to the layout and have a look.
So just before we look at the mock-up for the new plan, I just thought I'd show you, I've taken all the track up and the platforms, what we're left with. So there's a lot of work still to do here, filling and rubbing down and putting caulk down. And then here I've had to extend the baseboard, so it was originally where you see the white line. I've had to put more plywood to get a third line in here. Still work to do, so got some patching up to do, and then all these gaps want filling in. That's much the same all the way down here, so all caulk to put down here, and then way down here I've taken all the track up on the viaduct, so that's why the scenic stopped there, because there was a nasty bump here, so I've sort of taken that down now by rubbing that down, hopefully. And then I've carried on right the way into the tunnel because I had some bad connectivity connectivity issues between the track finishing here. There were no droppers, so I'm going to continue the flexi track into the tunnel and then join underneath the tunnel. So let's move across to the proposed mock-up of the track plan, but it's all looking pretty bare at the moment. Not seen it like this for a good while, so get the track plan sorted and then fill it all in, as I've said, give it a good paint with grey paint all over, and then get starting with the laying of the track. As you can see, is sort of crudely laid out in front of you. And what I've also done is put in the expected coach length that I'm going to use. So there's 8 Staniers, which are the slightly small. I think they're 135mm long coaches, and then we've got the Mark 1, which are about 150mm. So it's 7 Mark 1s or 8 Staniers that the station platforms will just about take. And then the 2 goods loops that you see either side of the main lines will take the length of those coach trains as well, and as well as obviously long express goods trains, which is the main idea of those. So that was one of the main reasons for the new track plan, was to be able to take those lengths of trains and store them, because as it stands I just had the 2 storage lanes over here on the far side of the layout. So in conjunction with that, I also wanted to have more storage for the number of locos that I'm sort of collecting, which is quite a lot for a small layout, I guess. I think I'm up to 8 with more planned, and I wanted to have sort of a representative loco, steam loco depot. So this, I feel, gives me that now with the new layout, because this was obviously a goods yard before with I think it had four sets of sidings and the goods shed, so it looked quite empty by comparison. So I think this gives more interest, really, and more prototypical with the plans that I've taken from Hellyfield. So looking from the back, we've got the coaling stage, which is fed by this sort of incline ramp that leads up to the coaling stage for the coal wagons, and then they're tipped into tippers, which, depending on which way the loco is, front or rear, the coal is dropped into the tender. So that's going to be a scratch built building, and I'm going to have to build up all of the banking there as well. So that's going to be a bit of a task. And then behind that we've got the full-size turntable to take a full-size loco, and then we've got the ash pit, which will have to be sunk into the baseboard as well. So I've checked under here and there's no cross beams. I think they sort of come here. So the turntable and the ash pits will miss the cross members underneath the baseboard. Don't be cutting through any of those. And then we come back to these 2 sets of points, which lead into a further 2 sets, which then lead into the 4-lane engine shed, which is represented by this box, and the Metcalf parts. So again, I'm going to scratch build the loco shed, probably based around the basic dimensions of the Metcalf, but taking into account the photographs and the plans that I've got of the engine shed, but it's never going to be the full length. I think scale wise it's probably 3-4 times what you see here, so it'll be a much reduced version of that. Water tower behind, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use a smaller kit version, which probably takes it to a lower height below this banking. I don't really want it obstructing the cottages behind, and I still think it looks too big to be fair for the layout. But anyway, that's a detail for another day. And then we've got the sand drying building here with the chimney, or representation of the chimney stack. So that'll be there. And then we've got this siding here, which will house wagons, or as it's got here, and I've seen on the photographs they seem to hold sort of store coaches in there as well. There is another line on the plan that would run down here, but I didn't really want to include that. I think it'll look too cluttered with track, so I've dropped that from the plan. And I also want to have some sort of road or steps or something down here from the railway buildings or houses, so the workers can get down into the yard, and I suppose any maintenance vehicles. I think it's going to be quite tight to get something here, but we'll work on that. So yeah, and then onto the station. As I said, the island platform will probably run to here. This isn't going to be as tight, but it's still going to have to come round and give me an opening that comes to about 100mm on the platform, and that will need to run for about 300mm in parallel, and that will give me enough room to get the 300mm station building, and also allow to be straight to allow for the canopies. And then further down will be the subway exit. So I'm going to represent that with a ramp going down into the baseboard. I may cut a hole, I don't know yet, or whether it'll just be a representation, and that will have a canopy over the top as well. And in reality, the subway then passes under the track to the car park and the road. So yeah, the two main lines continue to run down. We've got the south end signal box. I'm only planning on having, as per the modern day, one signal box at this end. I may have one at the other, but we'll see. Not for the moment. And then the platform will continue to run to quite narrow level, and then they'll have the signal gantry, which is a nice feature on the rail station here with the signals. And then just passing over to this side, we've got the goods loop, and then this additional siding stroke head shunt, which runs all the way down to this set of points, which enables you to go back onto the main line or into this siding here, which I've currently got some vans in there. So basically you'll come through the points into the head shunt, and then back down in reversing the goods vans or whatever into the goods shed, or into one of these two sidings. So the idea behind these is you'll have a cattle dock here, and then a coal merchants here with coal staves. A little bit tight in here for room, but that's one of the compromises I've had to make. But still happy with the solution. Just while we're here, you can have a see at the finished roofing. This is the Slater's roofing that I did. Painted it grey and weathered it on the workbench. So yeah, happy with how that's turned out over the sort of cardboard one. Gives it a little bit more texture and depth. So yeah, that's pretty much it really for how it's gonna potentially look. I know it's a little bit crude, but it gives you an idea. I like to do this, and then I can see, I know track plans are good, but I can see now if it's going to look overly cluttered, or there's certain things that don't work. And I've changed a few things on here, and then gone back to the track plan change those. So yeah, please let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like the layout, or were you a big fan of the original Westmorland layout? We'll leave it there, and hopefully it won't be as long on the next video, and see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.